Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Gord, you're hurting hippie on this kind of Friday. Tomorrow's Good Friday here in Canada. Tomorrow is Easter weekend. So today is the early Friday. It's a long weekend, but my friends, how would we know? Well, you read the title, cheaters, you bunch of cheaters, you cheaters. No, friends, I'm not always the positive hippie you see. I want to get that out there because I quite often get people saying, Gord, you're always so positive. And you need to know two things about that statement. One, it isn't true. I am not always that positive. I live in the depressed state. I have a difficult time many times throughout the day and usually morning, and we're going to talk about that. But two, when I'm on video, I feel a responsibility to all y'all. You guys are much like me. Like people stick together. We've always said this is kind of like an online group therapy session. So we're all broken in different ways. And if I came on every day and just said, oh, woe is me, my neck, my back, I cried, and this is wrong in my life and that's wrong in my life, I would not be much of a representative of a channel that wants to help people. I wouldn't be doing what the hippie's whole life has been. Life isn't about where I am in life. Life is about how well I can improve things for people around me. It becomes more difficult in this kind of situation because I don't have people around me, and trying to find ways to create that karmic flow. And I believe in karma. You put out. That's what she said. You put out and things come back. Not you look after yourself and hope things go well. You look after others and karma looks after you. Not everybody agrees with that, and every time I've said that, every video I've ever said that in, a few people have said, absolutely no way, Gord, you look after yourself first. You can't love others unless you've loved yourself. And those are all just mantras. If they're true for you, they're true for you. For me, I've been raised by my dad, who was not a hippie, but that was his belief, is we're on this earth to serve, not ourselves, but those around us. And through that servitude, karma takes care of us. And you know what? My dad is 88 years young and still living on his own and looking after himself, and still, when he wins at the casino, most of that money goes to other people. He's a good man. I should mention, hey guys, because you end up asking. It's -3 today. -7 with wind chill. Going up to 9, and then tomorrow to 0, and then Saturday -3, -4. It's all over the place this week, friends, so I'm not getting rid of this headache. But back to, why then do I not come on here and say, hey, this is how I am today, and just be 100% honest with y'all? And I try to. I do say that I've had weepy mornings, but I'm not going to come on here.
I haven't talked to Pasha in days. You know, my food last night burned.
You wouldn't watch me very long, would you? You know, I do. I am very honest about how my life is going. And it's a struggle. It's always a struggle. You know, it is week 2 without seeing Pasha. Oh, I saw him on video chat. We talk, we communicate, and he's doing really well with his first week of online schooling. He's doing really well. He misses his dad. I can tell. He won't say it because he's a teen, but he misses his dad, and I miss him. I have mentioned I'm 3.5 weeks of a headache. Yeah, 2 days ago I said it was gone, and it was mostly gone most of the day, but I don't consider the headache gone unless it can go away for a day or more, and it has not in 3 weeks. So there's that. I can't, I don't want, I can't do that. I can't sit here and list my troubles because that's not how I look at life. When the troubles come in my head, I think about it and I say to myself, does this need dealt with? Is there something outstanding here, or is it just a worry? And if it's just a worry, I say, get out of my head, Dave.
Get out of my head, Dave.
If there's nothing, write down your trouble. Try, when you have anxiety, try to write it down. I don't write it down anymore because I got so in the habit of analyzing the anxiety and saying, what the hell, why do I feel like that now? And really, the only anxiety I have had over the past a long while, couple of weeks anyway, is what does this virus mean to us in the future? Can they, am I going to catch it inevitably someday? And many of you might say yes. But you know what? If you really watch and see what's going on with the war on this virus, and the US and Canada have some incredible research facilities, and they have found quite a few. They've got 10 different drugs on full live clinical trial, 2 of which show really good promise as a vaccine, killing the virus within 97% within 24 hours, 99% within 48, or eradication within 48 in most cases. That's in clinical trials. They need to move forward, and they're moving forward faster than ever before. I do think that we will end up with either a vaccine for this or a very good treatment that can bring the danger of it way down. Then we get ahead of this curve, and then yes, it may be a flu that may be in society for quite a while. It may be something that down the road we get vaccines for, but at least if we catch it in the future, we get less sick. And for somebody who's almost 60 and not well, with arthritis and fibro and disc disease and COPD, I don't want to catch it, not in its current state. But if they can intubate quicker, if they can eradicate sooner, then maybe getting it and becoming immune might be a better choice. So yes, I'm riddled with anxiety, but I analyze my anxiety and I try to research. And sometimes, you know what? I'm scared to research. I get it, folks. I'm scared to Google X or Y because X or Y may not come up the way I hope it will, and it might just increase my anxiety. But knowledge is not anxiety. Anxiety is worry over something you either have no control over or you don't understand. Learn to understand it. The anxiety will lessen even if it is not going to happen the way you think it is. At least you know and can prepare. I have been guilty many times of putting a false front on and saying, I'm not going to research that. I'm not going to research that. I'll give you an example. I really thought I was being hacked. I had a couple of issues. Oh, it was a couple of months ago in the early part of this year. And I thought I was being hacked. I had weird things happen to my computer that and I'm a computer expert, and I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't want to. I didn't research it. I didn't, because I didn't mention it because I thought, oh, I'm just going to bring more attention. And then finally one day I researched it, and I found out that every single issue I had was because of a bad patch of Windows 10. I found the fix for it. I fixed my computer, and it's not happening anymore. So there was a lesson for old Gordy. So friends, am I always this bright and chipper? I hope I can be to people. There's people at the other end of this video, and there's people in person when you walk the streets or when you talk on the phone. To people, when it counts, I am always up and happy. But if you ask me now truly, how are things? I will be honest and say, oh, it's a rough day, you know? I'll be honest, but I'm not going to put it forefront because I'm not looking for sympathy or empathy or even maybe a little bit of understanding. Is just, I live life in a lot of pain, and I lessen that pain by helping others and making myself feel a lot better. It's just the hippie way. It's not a special way. It's just my way and many other people's. Friends, it's time for today is very British centric, so power to you, Boris. I hope you get well. In 1710, Native American leaders traveled to Britain to visit the Queen. Yes, in 1710. Some people don't know that we really, really worked hard in Canada at getting along with the natives. Almost 100 years before the infamous Lewis and Clark expedition, the four Mohawk kings from one of the Iroquois Confederacy's 5 nations and the Algonquin peoples were treated with high honors as diplomats. Transported through the streets of London in royal carriages, they were personally met by Queen Anne at the court of St. James Place. They also visited the Tower of London and St. Paul's Cathedral. I wonder if they got a I Heart London t-shirt too. I like that. In medieval England, the word ask was pronounced axe. So I suppose you could say it makes sense that's how they'd say it in Futurama, if that's how they'd say it in the past, right? This pronunciation of the word was even featured in the first English translation of the Bible. Axe, and it shall be given. Don't ask me that. And a bonus one, 3 today. In 18th century England, pineapples were a status symbol. Despite the fact they didn't make it over to England until the 1600s, by the 1700s, owning pineapples had become a huge craze. Those rich enough to own a pineapple would carry them around to signify their personal wealth and high-class status. Near enough everything from clothing to houseware was decorated with this exotic fruit. And for those who weren't rich enough to buy their own pineapples and become part of this fad, they could rent a pineapple out to tout around public and look the part for the day. Pineapples, really. Friends, peace and cheers, love and harmony. Remember, going live tomorrow. Don't forget. Peace.